Hello, everybody, and welcome to our digital roundtable. We are here tonight to talk about advancements and Eagle extensions and advancements for all the different levels. And our guest host tonight is Lynn Zumstein. And Lynn, we're going to give you the floor.
Good evening, everyone. There have been so many changes and they keep coming to date. So we'll start out with our Cub Scouts. As you well know, for Cub Scouts, they are able to have parents sign off as their Akalas. Cub Scouts may now continue to work on their current rank through July 31st. Now, that does pose an issue if you are going to go to day camp. Now, typically when Cub Scouts go to day camp, they've already bridged over to their new rank and they start working on their new rank. However, if they are going to continue to work on their current rank, so for example, if they are a bear and would be moving up to a wee below 1, if they go to day camp and they're saying they're still working on their bear year, they're going to be working on their bear achievements at day camp, not their wee below 1. So they'll have to make a decision on what rank that they want to be at if they go to day camp. That's the big change for our Cub Scouts. Hopefully nothing else will change with them. Hopefully, of course, we'll be able to get everybody out and doing their normal stuff soon as well. Now on to our Scouts BSA. There's been quite a few changes that have happened. A lot of questions that have been coming through on merit badges. Can merit badge requirements be modified? And the answer is no. So if you have something that needs to be completed, as written, it must be still followed as written. We cannot change anything for merit badges. Now, things can be changed and modified slightly for ranks. And that's another big question that has changed over the past week. Last week, it was asked on whether or not things could be modified, for example, like swimming requirements. That has now since been updated again. So they have come out with a list of things that are able to be modified by rank. So for example, there's been a big talk about virtual campouts. So what's a virtual campout? Well, a virtual campout is basically a campout that you are doing, for example, in your own backyard. Cub Scouts, not a problem. They can do most of their rank things in a backyard campout. Up until Monday, virtual campouts were a no-go for Scouts BSA. Now, they have come out with a change and said that virtual campouts can be used for certain things. So, for Tenderfoot, you have one of the requirements is that they have a troop campout. So now they are saying a virtual patrol or troop campout via video conferencing will be allowed. So you are still allowed to prepare a meal, and this time instead of with your patrol, it will be with your family members, and this will count. Again, there's a lot of different requirements that have been modified. So you want to get a hold of a document, and it's the advancement update question and answers. It is on scouting.org, and you can go and it'll tell you rank by rank what is allowed as modifications as of this week. The big again, the big thing was a lot of people were asking about these virtual campouts, and a lot of things are revolving around that. Next thing that's been the biggest question on is people who are needing boards of review. Boards of review can be handled via video conferencing. Just like if you happen to be having your troop meetings on Zoom or WebEx or whatever your platform you're using, you can also do those boards of review the same way. Just always make sure you are following the Guide to Safe Scouting and you have 2 deep leadership at all times. So if you happen to have a troop meeting and you need to break out some people because they wanted to get some things signed off, if you have the capability to send them off into their own little room, you have to still make sure that other little room has 2 deep leadership in it if you're going to spread out any of your scouts. The next big question came about with Eagles and the COVID-19 Eagle extension. That extension is basically a go or a no-go. So you either get 3 months or you get nothing. There's no in between. Now, for scouts that are having a difficult time getting some of their things done, the COVID-19 extension may be an option. However, for these extensions, it must be very clearly marked that the only reason they cannot be accomplished in their regular amount of time is because of COVID, not because of, oh, I left it to the last minute and now I'm kind of needing, you know, the extra 3 months because I didn't have enough time to finish out my leadership for my rank. I need an extension. So again, scouting.org has all the information that you could possibly need for knowing how to get some of these pieces of information that you will need in order to request your COVID-19 extension. Now that extension request will actually come and be emailed to me. What you'll need to provide is typical stuff for if you are going for any Eagle extension. We're going to need to know, when was your life border review? What type of merit badges do you still have left open, and how much time do you think you're going to need in order to finish those off? Also, your Eagle project, has it been approved? Do you have your signatures? Is it just you cannot get out to the store to go pick up your items that you need to finish off your project? Or are you not even in the planning stages, or whatever your situation may be? There's going to be some forms that we're going to get up onto the website, hopefully soon. And they will have all the information that your hopeful Eagle will need to fill out so that we have all the information available. Once it gets emailed to me, it goes and we look everything over, and Ted Carnes is the one who is able to grant those extensions. If he extends it, it gets from 3 months from the 18th birthday. No more, no less. Once that happens, that letter that the scout will receive gets attached to their paperwork when they turn it in at the end of their project. If that is not included with it, then there's going to be a problem down the road. So that is going to be another important piece of paperwork when they turn in all of their Eagle stuff to the council office in order to have it checked. So that's right now, all in a nutshell, kind of everything that's come out in the past week and a half. If anybody has any questions, I will try and answer anything I can. But again, check scouting.org with that coronavirus Always check your guide to advancement. That is the Bible for pretty much everything. And if it's not in there, don't hesitate to, send out an email either to myself, to the council office, and we will get you answers as fast as we can.
So there was a question that was posted on the chat about the virtual campouts. Will they be counted for nights in a tent for both the camping merit badge and for OA elections?
OA, I do not know. I have not heard anything out of the OA recently, but virtual campouts will count for rank only, not toward the merit badge.
Okay. And then another question was posted, does it have to be a full weekend virtual campout or just one night?
However many nights you do is how many will be able to be counted toward your rank, but again, not toward any merit badges.
Can we ask the question to Mark Van Ham about the OA election and the virtual overnights?
I have to unmute myself. As far as I know, the OA website right now says the membership requirements have not changed on the COVID-19 page that they have. So to me, that means that there are no changes as far as that go, as far as the virtual campouts go. As far as elections, we will start doing those as soon as we can actually do physical elections again. If that changes, we'll let you know.
Thank you, Mark. Lynn, there was a question on clarification at Eagle Board of Reviews able to be conducted via Zoom.
Absolutely. We actually have 2 of them scheduled for this week, and we are currently working on getting some more that have already submitted their paperwork, and we will hopefully be getting those scheduled within the next week or so.
I know we have a few people on the phone. For those that are just calling in, do you guys have any questions? Unless they're muted and they can't unmute. If there anybody else who has a question, you can either post it on the chat or unmute yourself and ask.
The interviews.
Like, how long does the actual board last?
Well, I know how long an actual physical board would last. As for doing it through Zoom, what's the time frame that's allotted?
Basically, it should be about the same, aside from if there's, like technology kind of issues. What we're gonna figure out as well is, since we won't physically, somebody's got a child in the background. Basically, information that normally a board would have in front of them to look at when they go to the board of review is going to be provided electronically. So hopefully what they can do is look through that paperwork prior to the actual board, and then we can eliminate the time that usually happens of looking through, their application, their Eagle project, and all of that. And then the regular board should go roughly about the same amount of time. What we can do is when the board needs to discuss whether or not they are going to recommend that scout for the Eagle rank, we can put them into a separate room, or we can have them slip off the call. We can have them rejoin it once the board has deliberated, and that kind of thing. Right now, the only other thing that we're having a little bit of an interesting situation with, I'll put it that way, is for these ones that had sent in their paperwork to the office prior to us being shut down, was we may not have some of those letters of recommendation. They are not absolutely essential to a board of review. They are wonderful to have there, but we can still hold a board review even without having those letters of recommendation. Hopefully I answered your question.
Thank you.
I see Josie, you have your hand raised. Did you have a question?
Yes, just it's based on service hours actually. Can you hear me fine? I've never used these
Yep.
headphones.
Yes.
Okay. So I have a scout who's going for her life, and she needs the conservation service hours. I know that right now, like scouting activity is not going on, so we're not going to meet as a scout. If she finds a place that's open, like I know Medewa and Tallgrass Prairie is still open, things like that, is she still allowed to work on those service hours right now if they do it socially distancing and she does it with her family, or does it have to be done when the scouts are all meeting together?
Well, considering conservation hours don't have to be with a troop, but it still has to be approved by the troop. Is she close to, aging out, or, does she have some time that she can wait until more things would open up? Because I know there's a lot of the forest preserves that, some of the trails may be open, but not necessarily all the activity type things that are going on.
She's currently on the Eagle extension because she turns 18 in like September, I think. So she's already on the 2-year extension. She has to be at life in June. So I think the service hours is the only thing right now that she has not gotten. So it was more of a, if she finds a place that's open, we're doing Zoom meetings, so we can't approve of it ahead of time. I just wasn't sure if she was, okay, we count that now, even though we're all not supposed to be doing in-person scout activity.
I don't see a problem with that as long as your troop does not see a problem with that. But again, most of your forest preserves and all that kind of stuff, their usual cleanup days are kind of on suspension right now because of COVID.
Okay.
But one other thing, in case somebody was wondering, is that for scouts that are currently on an extension, they can also request a COVID extension. I don't think we have many scouts right now in council, aside from some of our Girl Scouts that are on an extension already. But COVID could be a possible addition to an extension.
And she cannot apply for that until she reaches the Life Scout, though, correct?
Correct.
Okay. All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
I see we have a question, quick question asking if their letters should still be sent to the office.
Yes, the letters should still be sent to the office. The staff is rotating who is at the office every day so they can get the mail. And Dee will be up and running this week, so she will be able to get those letters, and then we'll be able to get those things scanned in as well, and then available for any future boards.
Okay, thank you.
Teresa has her hand up.
No, I was just going to tell you that we had a scout in the same situation as Josie's, and I reached out to Tommy out at camp, and Tommy arranged for him and his dad to clean the campsite for 3 hours. That took care of the conservation, it took care of social distancing, and it helped Rainbow out at the same time.
Oh, fantastic, Teresa. Thank you.
Yes.
It looks like Robert Back has a question. Go ahead, Robert.
We can't hear you.
Let's see.
He's unmuted. We just can't hear you.
Okay. Hey, Robert, if you could type that in, if you rejoin audio or type that in, we'll get that question for you. In the meantime, Sean Wormsley, do you have a question?
Yes, my question is regarding merit badges. I found some people through the Scoutmaster Corner for nationwide about merit badges, and I offered them to the troop. A few of the kids had to take them up on them, but then our advancement chair said, how are we going to do this if we don't have blue cards? And I said, Scout Book. I think on Scout Book we can assign merit badges to people and to the counselors. But then I noticed that a few people locally that are on our merit badge list aren't on Scout Book. So how will we do that when it comes to the blue cards?
Well, you can still at the troop level, you can still approve a blue card through Scout Book if your unit is on Scout Book. So that should not be an issue. It can also be done via email or any that kind of thing. So they don't have a problem with electronic blue cards at this point.
Do we need to keep a copy of, do we need to have a blue card sent eventually when the COVID is finished, or is the Scout Book totally fine for everything?
Well, you'd still be able to print off from Scout Book, but I would say more than likely that merit badge counselor is probably going to fill out a regular blue card, and you should be able to get that. But I believe, and of course this may change, right now they are saying total electronics for these things are kind of okay right now.
And then is there any reason why we couldn't use any merit badge counselor in the United States as long as they have current YPT?
You can use any merit badge counselor you want, but again, yeah, just make sure they are following, you know, the Guide to Safe Scouting, and make sure, you know, there's, you know, 2 deep leadership and all that kind of thing. You know, I know a lot of virtual merit badge like classes that are starting to pop up and be offered, and National does not have a problem with any of those right now.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, Robert. Well, actually, let's see. Sean, thank you for turning off your microphone. Robert, go ahead and ask your question.
Okay, can you guys hear me?
We
Yes.
can.
Okay, perfect. I got that technical problem resolved. So with regards to the extensions, and I know you said that there's 3 months based upon the COVID-19 problem, we do have one scout that's currently Eagle Project approved. He's ready to go, but the problem is obviously due to social distancing, we can't work on the Eagle Project itself. Do you, and I know this is a would have, could have, should have, would it possibly happen, but do you anticipate the BSA possibly extending this further based upon government restrictions of social distancing as well as in-home quarantining? Meaning that if we go beyond June 6th, like say for instance, this extends in the state of Illinois from the April 30th to June 6th, and maybe even possibly longer, do you anticipate the BSA possibly extending this further? Because in reality, this scout has got everything completed. We just cannot work the current project due to the fact that we have restrictions put upon us as far as what the government's requiring us to do.
I believe that they would probably make a change to that, but considering right now, you know, they're kind of going 30 days out and stuff, and then we'll make further decisions after that. So, I mean, I think if, you know, if we got shut down and are still in quarantine for another month or so, they probably would reevaluate that, because people would still not be able to get to those stores or, you know, able to work on those projects. But right now they're saying it's, you know, 3 months out from the scout's 18th birthday that we can possibly give.
Okay, understood. I just want to relay the information, and obviously, you know, myself and the rest of the troop will be keeping an eye on it. So thank you, Lynn. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Teresa, I see you have your hand raised. Did you have a question or a comment for us?
That might have been from earlier.
Yeah, it might be from earlier.
From earlier. Yeah.
Okay. Josie, I see a hand.
Yes, just one more question with the extension then, because Lynn mentioned there's not many who are currently on that Eagle extension, but that the COVID-19 extension only gives you 3 months past your birthday. Now, for those who are on the extension, is it going to give them 3 months past whatever that extension is, or is it not going to help them any further than the 3 months after their 18th birthday? Because like my scout turns 18 in, it's either August or September, but her extension's through next February because of when she joined. So is it 3 months after February, or still only 3 months from her birthday?
So here's what National has said about this. So when a scout gets an extension, it is like they get a new birthday. So their new birthday is the date of when their extension would end. So a COVID extension would go past her February date instead of her actual birthday.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
These are all really good questions. Do we have any more questions? I'm seeing Sean. Sean, did you have a question?
Yeah, sorry. I'm trying to cook the kids dinner at the same time. It's hard, and they're playing Minecraft, so they're loud. I only have 2 scouts that are life. One turns 18 in November. He just needs 2 merit badges, which he's hoping to get at camp this year, as long as we have camp. He already has the citizens, which are the hard ones, so these are just 2 other Eagle ones. He has an idea for his project, but he hasn't put anything on paper yet. It hasn't been sent to anybody. That's all he has to do, pretty much. So, is that something that would qualify for an extension when he turns 18 in November for his COVID, or is it?
Well, I would
too
say
early
right
to
now, I wouldn't submit the paperwork yet for an extension, because I mean, if we get lifted in May, he's going to be good to go on whatever, and you know, he'll have plenty of time until November. Once it gets closer, I would say then go ahead and definitely look into that possibility. But right now, I mean, there's really no reason to give him a 3-month extension if he's good until November.
So I was all cut out. You said something about November?
Yeah, I would say do not submit the paperwork for an extension, since his birthday is not until November, because you don't want to kind of, you know, take any way that he might need something down the road away from him now.
Okay, thank you.
You're
Appreciate it.
Okay, do we have any other questions? All right, going once, going twice. All right, thank you everybody for attending. We very much appreciate it. If you have any other questions, don't hesitate to reach out to Lynn or Ez or myself, and we'd be happy to help you. Just want to remind everybody to please put your unit number in the comments if you haven't yet. That helps us take attendance. We do have to record that. And keep an eye out in your email and on your Facebook pages, and we will be doing more of these sessions. If you have something that you really would like some more information about, please let us know and we can do a session on it. We're here to help you. So thank you everybody for coming.